3 hotels, and 2 bed and breakfasts. See what each place offers and how much you'll pay as we travel through Scotland from the Highlands to the Islands. For our first night in Edinburgh, we stayed at the newly opened Residences on George Street. Residences is located in the part of Edinburgh known as Newtown. With Princes Street just a block away, you get to enjoy the best of both New and Old Town. We like this location because you're within walking distance to major attractions like Edinburgh Castle, the Royal Mile, the National Gallery, the Walter Scott Monument, and so much more. Residences is a beautiful accommodation fit for a prince and princess. We booked the Firth of Forth suite with a king-size bed. The bedroom not only provides a fantastic view of Newtown, there are luxurious appointments throughout and ample space to store your belongings. If you're sensitive about temperature, there is air conditioning throughout the suite. Hairdryer? Check, along with plush bathrobes and slippers to use in the bathroom next door, where you can take your time relaxing under a soothing rainfall shower using a variety of eSpa bath products. And there is lots of room to spread out. The suite features a private living room with a sofa that is also a pull-out bed, which means an additional guest could sleep here. This is a great choice for extended stays because the kitchenette is fully stocked so you can prepare your own meals. And while you eat, your eyes can feast on the fabulous view of Edinburgh's coastline. Guests have access to the reception room where you can make a cup of coffee and snack on a fresh baked pastry. It's a cozy room to sit and watch what's happening on the busy street below, especially if it's raining. Even if it is raining, which happens a lot in Edinburgh, no problem. You can use one of the umbrellas conveniently located by the entrance. The cost for 2 nights in May was £474 or £237 per night. I must have gotten a hugely discounted rate through Booking.com because prices have gone up considerably since then. Next up, the Highlands. To get there, we boarded a train at Waverley Station heading to Inverness. This is an easy way to travel and take in the changing landscape of the Highlands. We got off at Inverness and rented a car from Enterprise. The nice thing about renting a car is the ability to go where you want to go on your own schedule. So we decided to check out Loch Ness at Doris Beach before heading to our final stop for the day. No signs of the elusive lake monster, but we did enjoy the panoramic views from the beach. In Newtonmore, we stayed at the Eagleview Guest House. Newtonmore is located an hour south of Inverness along the A9. We wanted a traditional bed and breakfast experience in the Highlands, and the Eagleview Guest House delivered on that expectation. The rooms are cozy and tastefully decorated, coffee and tea service is provided in each room, and the hairdryer can be found in the nightstand by the bed. We learned that in Scotland, you won't find the hairdryers in the bathroom. The electrical outlet only accepts electric razors for safety reasons. The guest house also offers a common area for residents, perfect for sitting by the fireplace to read or visit. And here's the cozy breakfast room. Each morning, Moira, the proprietor, would greet us for breakfast, and she would ask us what we wanted to eat and drink. Here's a look at the menu. We love the smoked salmon with scrambled eggs, and if you're wondering what rocket is, that's what they call arugula in Scotland. The smoked salmon tastes so fresh and light. No wonder Scotland is famous for it, and it pairs well with scrambled eggs for a hearty breakfast. The coffee is robust and flavorful. I also enjoyed the yogurt with fresh fruit, brimming with raspberries, apples, strawberries, grapes, and kiwi, all presented in such a pretty arrangement. It makes breakfast feel like a grand experience. Speaking of special experiences,
here at Eagleview Guest House, we chose room number 4 because it has a giant clawfoot bathtub, perfect for soaking after a long day in the Cairngorm Mountains.
Hiking in the Cairngorms put an exclamation point on our tour of the Highlands. We chose Glenmore Forest Park as our launch point because of ample parking and well-marked trails. If you want more details on how to get here, check out my Glenmore Forest Park video. You'll want to schedule a whole day to visit. The scenery is just incredible. My favorite part was hiking to the Green Loughin, a beautiful body of water that sparkles emerald green in the sunlight.
Good morning. It's around 5:40 a.m. on June the 1st here in Scotland. The sun has already been up for about an hour. There's a lot of daylight in Scotland because of where it's located in the northern hemisphere. In fact, the sun didn't set till approximately 10:30 last night. That's a lot of daylight hours, which is great for exploring because there is so much to see and do in Scotland. But if you're like me and you like to have it completely dark when you sleep, I recommend having an eye mask. It's really important to be able to have a deep sleep. So I like to keep it really dark with this eye pillow when I sleep. Another thing that's important to have, I think, is earplugs. It is a guest house after all, so sometimes you can hear the noise in the kitchen and of your neighbors around you. It's a house, so that's expected. It's not a bad thing, but these are really helpful if you do like to have silence when you sleep. So, 2 things for a great night's sleep, because you're going to need it to have full energy when you explore all of Scotland.
Newton Moor is also home to the Highland Folk Museum. Want to experience what it was like to live in the Highlands during the 18th century? This is the place to do it. The recreated homes and docents dressed in period costume make the 1700s Highland township come to life. Many scenes from the show Outlander were also filmed here, making it a popular destination in Scotland for fans of the show. Driving west along the A95 takes you into whiskey country. Along the Malt Whiskey Trail, we stopped for a tour at the Glenlivet Distillery to learn how Speyside whiskey is made. It was a fascinating tour, and I talk more about it in my Highlights of Scotland video. Be sure to check it out for a more detailed look at things to see and do in Scotland. The total cost for staying at our base camp in the Highlands was £378, or £126 per night. That's an exceptional value because it's the busy travel season with breakfast included.
All right, so our stay at the Eagle View Guest House is over. We are going to miss this place so much, but we have to drop off the rental car in Edinburgh. So we're going to take the A9 back down to Edinburgh and head under the Edinburgh Waverley train station, which is where Enterprise is located. Here we go.
Back in Edinburgh, we stayed in room number 206 of the Premier Inn on Rowe Street. It features a generous king-size bed, space for clothing, hairdryer, and coffee service. There are nice big towels in the bathroom, along with hair and body wash you can use under the luxurious rainfall shower. If you like it cold while you sleep, adjust the temperature with air conditioning. I booked this room with a king bed for just £107. It is the least expensive of all our accommodations on our 10-day trip. How did I get it so cheap? Well, the trick is to book early. This was booked 8 months before our trip. Out of curiosity, I checked prices just a few weeks before we left, and the room price had tripled. It pays to book early. Breakfast is available on site for about £11. You can choose from a full Scottish breakfast or just the continental items. It's a very convenient option because we were up at 6:30 in the morning to get to our next stop.
We had a quiet night's sleep at the Premier Inn. And while it's not the fanciest of hotels, the beds were comfortable, the rooms were clean, and for the price point, it was a great one-night stop before we head to Tobermory with Discover Scotland Tours.
For For this part of our trip, we took a ferry from the port city of Oban to the Isle of Mull. The ferry ride there fueled our anticipation for the next few days in Tobermory, a popular fishing village in Mull that is famous for its row of brightly painted buildings facing the harbor. In Tobermory, we selected the Harbor Guest House because it is next to all the things. We stayed in a room on the first floor with views of the harbor. The room is small but has a comfortable queen bed with a hairdryer beside it in the nightstand. There's also a spacious wardrobe to store clothes and personal items, coffee and tea service, and a good-sized bathroom with supplied toiletries. It doesn't have air conditioning, but the window lets in plenty of fresh air. On the islands, it is much cooler, so we didn't need air conditioning at all.
The accommodations in Harbour Guest House aren't the largest that we've stayed in so far in Scotland, but I had the most comfortable night of sleep. This really is a very comfortable bed. Also, one thing, if you didn't know about European beds and sheets and blankets and all that, they don't have a top sheet. But honestly, I didn't even miss it. The duvets with the duvet covers are just so comfortable and cozy. You won't miss the top sheet. Here's another oddity about this particular bathroom. Follow me. So this is an electric shower. It's really not as confusing as it looks. I don't know what this does, something with the extreme temperature, but this controls how hot you want the water, and when you think you've got it figured out, just hit that button and voila, water.
The process for breakfast involves marking your choices on an order form and placing it in the dining room the night before. Breakfast features a variety of options that include a full Scottish breakfast with eggs cooked fresh. Even vegan haggis is on the menu. Surprisingly, many places in Scotland accommodate special diets. Vegans and vegetarians will have an easy time managing to eat appropriately. The total cost for a 3-night stay at Harbour Guest House was £531, or £177 per night, with breakfast included. There are cheaper accommodations in Tobermory, but we paid extra for location, and it was worth it. You are close to everything. Walk across the street, and you're at the world-renowned Tobermory Distillery. If you want to find the perfect gift, you'll discover great shopping on Main Street at locally owned businesses. There's custom-made Scottish jewelry, organic bath products, pottery, and much more. Personally, I found the shopping in Tobermory to be better than Edinburgh because merchandise is often local, handmade, and unique. My advice is to shop in the villages. They have one-of-a-kind creations that will bring you lasting joy. And what a joy it was to explore the Isle of Mull. The rugged landscape continues to impress with its rolling hills, pristine lochs, and dramatic coastlines. As you marvel at the glorious surroundings, consider yourself lucky when you are rewarded by the sight of these gentle creatures grazing in a field. The Highland cows, or hairy coos as they are affectionately called, carelessly roam about, even onto roadways. I don't know how the locals feel about this, but for us tourists, it never failed to amuse us, watching these shaggy beasts with their long hair covering their eyes as they lumber along, completely oblivious to any schedules or sense of order. Truly one of the most delightful moments of our time in Scotland. Here on the Isle of Ulva, we stopped for a delicious lunch at the Boathouse. If you visit the islands, you must eat langoustine. It's like an oversized shrimp with lobster claws and tastes like a combination of the two sea creatures, but better. The other island to visit is Iona, famous for its abbey founded by St. Columba in the 6th century. It is said to be the birthplace of Christianity in Scotland. It is also believed that the nearby graveyard at St. Oran's Chapel serves as the final resting place for ancient Scottish kings, including Macbeth.
Our tour has ended, and we're spending our last night in Edinburgh at the Haymarket Hotel. It's just outside of the city center. Let's go check it out.
The Haymarket Hotel is a row of Victorian-era townhomes nestled along a quiet cobblestone street. We were assigned to the Boysdale building. Our room had a king bed, which was serviceable, but not very comfortable, coffee and tea service, and a wardrobe for clothing and other items. Something it had that other accommodations did not were an iron and ironing board, which Jeff made good use of. In the shower, they provided dual-purpose hair and body shampoo, and like all bathrooms we encountered, no outlet for the hairdryer. You have to use it by the vanity in the main room. If the water stains on the ceiling had been addressed, I think the room would have felt a little more cheerful.
Of all the places we've stayed, the Haymarket Hotel shows its age the most. But we are in Scotland after all, and sometimes old means lots of character. There is a trade-off where you have to overlook some certain cosmetic flaws.
For a one-night stay, it cost £178. I think if I had booked earlier, it probably would have cost much less than that, but it was the most budget-friendly option available 2 weeks before our trip. By then, prices in the city had more than doubled, sometimes even tripled, from when I first made bookings about 8 months before. So, to recap, here's what we spent on lodging for our 10-day trip in Scotland. 4 nights in Edinburgh came in at £722, 3 nights in the Highlands, £378, 3 nights in Isle of Mull, £531, for a grand total of £1,668.
This concludes our trip to Scotland. We've had an amazing time visiting all the wonderful places in this fascinating country. So I hope you've found this video helpful as you decide where to stay. Merry travels, and I'll see you again soon.